Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle news update. All right, if you've gone over to Big Ramy's Instagram recently, you'll see some amazing pictures he put up 1 week out from the Arnold Classic 2020, which took place obviously back in March. And look, we know that shows are not decided from progress pictures or 1 week out, 2 week out, 3 week out pictures. The show is decided on stage. But after looking at these pictures, you gotta say the guy was in shape. I mean, look at him. I mean, if this guy looked like this on the Arnold Classic stage, things might have gone a lot differently. I'm not saying he would have won, but he might have won. I mean, if you look at the conditioning he was packing here, and you see the separation in his side leg, I mean, the glutes from the side, the glutes from the back, the front double bicep detail. You can see his face is noticeably drawn out in these pictures. He's definitely depleted down here, but he doesn't look flat because the guy has got ridiculous amounts of muscle on his body. The back double, his back's a little flat, but in the lower lat area, which is always that way anyway because he has, high lat insertions. But there's a lot of detail there. You put some coloring on him right in those pictures, he's going to be a hard guy to beat in that state. And that's probably depleted. I'm sure Chad had him carb depleted tremendously a week before a show. I think the mistake was that I don't think Big Ramy needs to eat a lot of carbs prior to a show. He probably was over-carbed. And that's only because you figure, look at how much muscle this guy's got, right? He must have tremendous glycogen storage available in the muscles and the liver. We got to feed this guy, right? But that's just not the case. Obviously, I don't think the guy ever gets glycogen depleted. You got to remember, just because you don't eat a lot of carbs doesn't mean you're glycogen depleted because your body makes carbohydrates from, the liver. The liver, engages in gluconeogenesis, which is the production of amino acids into glucose, which then can be stored as glycogen. Matter of fact, the liver could even turn amino acids directly into glycogen storage. So Big Ramy just may not ever really get super glycogen depleted. And if he does, it doesn't look bad on him because of how much muscle he has. And as a matter of fact, it probably, and it does, show his lines better when he's carb depleted. Look, when I work with women, I don't carb them up like to maximum capacity because it just doesn't look good on them. It doesn't look aesthetic. They look better with deeper grooved lines, with a better taper to their waist, because that's what they judge. They don't judge muscle fullness necessarily on women's physique or women's bodybuilding or even figure for that matter. So, a lot of times lines, are more impressive, under the lights, to a judge than how full your muscles are. Now, Big Ramy, because he has so much muscle, he's never going to be flat. So lines work better on his body because we want to see detail. And that's something that has been lacking from the very beginning of the Big Ramy era. We just don't see the detail. And I think we see a lot more detail when he's not carbed up. These pictures prove it. And I guess the pictures are a good thing because now he has clear-cut evidence, and if he sticks with Chad, which I imagine he will, Chad has clear-cut evidence to say, hey, look, we don't need to fill this guy up. we could send him in with one carb meal and go to Protan or whatever he's using for tanning. And he looks great. And that's sometimes the best thing to do. I always say, look, at 1 week out, if you look amazing, don't change anything. Change as little as you possibly can to get to that stage. Because once you start doing extreme things, things go wrong. And obviously something went very wrong from 1 week out to when Ramy stepped on stage, because those are two different bodies in my mind. And once again, I know they're pictures and I know that those are not representative of what he might have looked like if he had put tanning stuff on in oil and got on stage next to the other competitors. But I've been doing this quite a while. I have to say that he's a lot more detailed in these pictures than he was on stage. And I only judged the show from pictures and video because I wasn't there. So you can see a dramatic difference between, and I'll put the pictures up between the stage shots and these shots. So the bottom line is, the good news is that Ramy can get in shape. And Ramy looks great when he's in shape. The bad news is that he didn't do it at the Arnold Classic and he didn't win the show. So maybe if there's ever a bodybuilding show for the rest of the season, and I pray there is, if there's a God watching us, he will allow the bodybuilding season to resume. If there is, hopefully we'll see Ramy in that show and then hopefully in the Olympia at the end of the year. Because Ramy is back. I mean, the guy doesn't really have any weaknesses that I can see. I think he can win the Olympia if he can bring a look like this in, just maybe 1 or 2% better. Hey, the ball's in his court now. He's got the data at his disposal. We've all seen the pictures. We always see the pictures of Ramy though, but these pictures are pretty convincing. Ramy, do what you got to do. Get back on stage again one more time before the Olympia. Test it out and bring it to the Olympia. We've been waiting for almost a decade now. I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News Update.